still early. We should put a note out that it is 8 a.m.
Nate should be popping on any minute.
Oh dear, we're gonna put a face to the name.
Adding
a true champion. Oh, here's the real champion.
There it is.
Here's the real champion right here.
Nathan, Andrew, Donnelly Clark. Wow.
Hey guys. Oh my God. I feel like I know all of you so intimately, but I don't at the same time.
That's what fantasy football does to you, mate.
I know, right?
And that Slack room doesn't really, doesn't help either.
You're more my family than my real family at this point. The sounds of your voices put me to bed at times. Like,
yeah,
you work out the squabbles of my life.
Oh man,
how you
doing, mate?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, we had to.
Nate, what was that, like 6 months ago, 8 months ago? Nate was like, how do I get on the pod? And I was like, well, if you win our fantasy league, we can talk about it. And then sure enough.
That was my sole motivation, was being able to get into the intermingling dynamics of your three relationship. Which kudos, by the way. I love the three of you. I love how it works. I'm a big fan.
Appreciate that.
All right, let me do the intro real quick, because I always forget to do that. Hello and welcome to episode 93 of Draft Offsides. I'm with Tico, Enzo, and Nate. My name is Keith. Follow us on Draft Offsides, and we'll see you next week. And now we can talk about Trent and Enzo.
I also have a question. I have two questions for you guys, but you go.
I was going to say, how is it that, he was speaking fucking fluent Spanish?
Hola.
You see that?
The memes
the
memes were so funny.
Yeah. It was just like,
they're such good content.
I'm a Liverpool boy through and through, blah, blah, blah. But I've been doing Duolingo for the last fucking 2 years.
So good.
Did you guys see the video of like where they're like celebrating and he looks at it and he just walks away disappointed? They're like, that's when he decided to learn Spanish.
Oh, when he lost in the final. Yeah. Motherfucker.
But also, it was like, he's like, there was a lot where he's like, yeah, I grew up watching them win 3 Champions League. People are like, motherfucker, you were playing in one of those Champions League they won.
The one that cracked me up the most is like, it took Trent like, I don't know, like weeks or months to speak perfect Spanish, whereas it took Gareth Bale 8 years to say gracias.
That is true too. I mean, and that's something I was listening to, like the Men in Blazers, someone they're talking about. They're like, God forbid he had a hobby. God forbid he like learned a language. Like everyone's like getting so pissed at him, but
that wasn't a hobby.
It was pretty calculated.
It was pretty fucking calculated.
There was that like linguistics teacher, Spanish teacher. It was like, it takes 12 to 18 months for somebody to be at a basic conversational level. It takes 18 to 24 to be able to do that.
Really? That's so funny.
Maybe
we've all kind of known this though, right? Like we've all known that Real Madrid's been going for him for a long time. We all knew that his contract was running down. This like I feel like anyone who's acting really shocked by any of this is like silly to me. Like I feel like this has all been kind of in the ether for a while, for a year.
Like, is it the club or is it the players? Because Real Madrid does this so bloody often.
The fan base.
Fuck you. They do it so often where they go, hey, I saw you play against us. You look really good. Hey, your contract ends in 2 years. If you just play it out, we'll pay you.
I went down this.
Isn't that tapping?
To your point, I went down this rabbit hole about many things, but one was just about, like general PSRs and how much money. The amount that Real gets to save because of what they've done with Mbappe and Trent is unbelievable. It's like you look at the numbers and you're like, why is Real Madrid not in the top 25 most like biggest spending clubs?
Yeah.
And then they make $1 billion every year now. And it's like, how is this possible? And it's just what you were just saying. They're sneaky little fucks.
Sneaky little fucks.
I feel like too, they did this at the time when transfers were getting really explosive. Like they went through a phase. Remember like the Galactico phase? They went through that. And they're like, wow, this like kind of sucks. And like then Barcelona did it in the exact same thing where it just like fails. Like the Galactico thing fails when you like the big money transfers and stuff.
When everyone was going through that phase, one was like a few years ago where like Coutinho over 100 million, Dembele over 100 million, like all these players were spending a lot of money. Real Madrid didn't do any of that.
Because they'd already done it 10 years before that. Like they'd already kind of learned their lesson from that. Like, So.
And there's somebody's in there saying, going to Mbappe, going to Trent, hey, why don't we split the difference? I'll give you $350,000 a week. you just got to wait this out a year, so I get a 0 transfer, and I'm going to just explode your wages for you.
Exactly.
Motherfucker.
Well, the Mbappe one, they were trying to buy him for a long time, and then PSG was like refusing to sell him. So they're like, all right, we'll just wait it out. It's not like we have a shitty team with Vinicius, Rodrigo, Jude. So it's like they could afford to wait them out as well because they do have the talent and people do want to go play for them.
Yeah. It's crazy. Ugh. Those guys.
You know, when I got a glimpse of your like obsession or like how like remember there was like this one week where like I didn't get points or like I had to make a substitution, and then I was thinking. I was just having fun.
Oh, you made let's be clear. What you did is you set an illegal lineup, right? By mistake. Because you do all this weird fuckery, Tico, where you leave a guy off your bench so you can like pick someone up later. I mean, like it's just backfired. You accidentally had too many players in your starting lineup, so you got 0 points.
I had screenshots, so you know.
Okay.
And
so
then
there was like a little bit of a conundrum of like, what do I do? And then as commissioner, I was like talking to Nate and talking to Tico and being like, what do you think is fair? And then Tico, sorry. So that's the framework for what Tico's going to say.
And then I thought about like sitting down myself, like calculating the points of this and that. I was like, you know what? Let me just talk my shit and hopefully get sorted out. And then Nate has this whole spreadsheet, did everything.
No, he did.
So brutal.
They had it was like every possibility. He's like, well, if you would have started this guy, the total points would have been this. If you would have started this guy,
and it would have been, I still would have beat you.
Exactly. It was my subtle jab. No, I
liked it.
He probably knows this, but I guess in school I studied like sociology. So every once in a while, if I can get into like stats of something, so like this is another example. That website, I don't know if you guys heard of this. This probably like ruined my fall, and it has nothing to do with fantasy. Like I got no benefits from fantasy, but it's like the nerdiest statisticians who love football have come together and made this website, Football Observatory. So I just like, and it's like these. It's called.
What's it called? No, shit.
It's in the chat. Copy paste it.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Sorry.
Football Observatory.
Yeah, and that's just one of the. That was the article I was just reading, which was like talking about like, but it's like goes super deep into like any topic and like weird reports and I don't know. But there's a couple of these that like my partner Amaya, she would be like, I'd be in bed, it'd be like 2 a.m. She'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd be like, bug-eyed, looking like, I don't know, I can't get off on this. Like, I need my fix.
So, where in Portugal do you live?
Well, I'm not there yet. Actually, I'm in France at the moment, but we're moving. I used to live there, so I lived there for a long time. Moved to France because my partner and I had a daughter, and then I'm moving back in like the next month in Lisbon.
Oh,
Lisbon.
Yeah.
Do you go to a lot of football matches there or try to?
To be honest, when I was there the most, I actually was living in Porto for the biggest chunk. So I was like trying to get into Porto, like FC Porto. But actually, again, a weird jab at Real Madrid. Like I hate Pepe so much that I just like couldn't get into Porto. But tickets are actually, it's weird. They're hard to get for Benfica and Sporting because they're
it's like
affordable. Yeah. Actually, there's a workaround apparently is like if you have a company, you should like really try and buy a box because you can get a box for like $3,000 a year.
Wow, that's like amazing.
Yeah,
that's like one ticket to see the Lakers.
Exactly, and it's like you get like 8 seats. You get all the Champions League games.
Shit,
but so if you can like split it with friends, I guess that's kind of the play.
I have a friend who's from Portugal, and he was saying that a lot of it too is that you get it like parents will give their kids like a season ticket when they're young, and then just like they'll have it the rest of their like life. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot of just like tickets floating around for stuff.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like I was just gonna say it's like the Green Bay Packers in that way. You know, the wait list to get season tickets is like 50 years.
When I was in Lisbon, we just walked to the stadium and bought tickets there. But this is when Nani was playing there, like 2016, maybe, I don't know, 17.
No, I mean, maybe you still should be able to. I'm not sure. I know a couple of my friends too have tried, but I don't know. Maybe just. I had a question for you guys though, and I was going to see if Tico, you don't necessarily. I don't think you have skin in this, so it was a question that other people have asked, but I was really interested in your guys' who had a better season, Chelsea, Arsenal, or Tottenham, and why?
You want to answer this one, Keith?
You go ahead.
Answer this one, Keith.
Tico, because you don't have skin in the game, I think you should go first.
And yeah, maybe Tico should
Tottenham.
go first.
Yeah.
Tottenham had the better year.
Of the three.
Explain
of the
why.
three.
Explain
Because
why.
from Arsenal didn't win anything. You finished second. Good job. Chelsea won the Conference League. Okay. And then
Top four.
They won the Europa. Top. Okay, great. You finished top four to play in the Champions League. Tottenham's going to play in the Champions League, so they get the Champions League. They also have from all the trophies those three clubs won. They won the best trophy. Because at the end of the day, you play to win the game, and you want to play to win trophies.
But I think you have to caveat
Oh,
that
here
with
we
the
go.
amount of suffering that Tottenham fans had to endure this year.
That's
a lot-
nothing fucking new.
This was a higher level of suffering than you normally endured, like in a season. And you can't say that's not true.
I
But
think
nine
that
times you
did
showed
pretty
up here
well.
with that dead look in your eye. You can't tell me
No.
that's not true.
That was
How many times did you fire Edge? But
Fucking so many times.
But at the end you suffer, but at least at the end of the day, you win a trophy. So the suffering was worth for something. It wasn't like for like in every other year where they suffer and win nothing, jack shit. So
Look at Sergey.
He's not even there.
So-
but you're like,
Nate, Sergey, I don't know if you know my brother. He's an Arsenal fan. He produces this thing. So
Pleasure, dude. What's up?
yeah. He celebrated. What did Arsenal celebrate this year? Like, let's be honest, beating Real Madrid was their biggest accomplishment.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I would say Arsenal. I even tried to find some weird statistic to be able to try and prove it that I don't even believe. But if you want it, I can tell you it.
Oh no, please, kid. I'm listening.
Okay, so here's again my craziness of rabbit holes. I was like, maybe the only way it actually benefited Arsenal is you get certain amounts of money for finishing in certain places. So in the Premier League, every position is 3 million more. So in PSR, we essentially, compared to Tottenham, would have gotten whatever the difference was, right? 3 million times. What did you finish? 17th or 16th?
17.
17th. So 17 times 3, whatever that is. That's how much more money. And then in Champions League, the farther you go, same thing. So like if you win Champions League, you get 100 million euros or whatever it adds up to be. So I did the math, and if you compare Arsenal to Tottenham, even with Tottenham getting 30 million for winning the Europa, Arsenal
higher performing.
Yeah. Arsenal got like way more money technically. But if you go under that logic, then technically
17 million.
Chelsea got the best.
So why? Because they won Conference League and they got fourth.
Yeah, technically.
So,
technically Chelsea would have gotten the most revenue just from those two.
Yeah,
not from everything else.
Okay, here's my take on it. Is like Tottenham was the highs were the highest of all three of those teams, right? And the lows were the lowest, right?
Do you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
So this is how much they got.
And this is just from the Premier League, though, right?
This is
Premier
just from
League,
Premier League.
Okay.
And this is how much 130.
130. So what it's
so you add the 30 million, it's 160,
167, yeah.
So 7, 8,
about 17, 18 million less, yeah.
So what I'm hearing is because I came second in one league and got more money than Tico, who got first in the other league, I had a better season than Tico.
Exactly.
You can keep that fucking small ass trophy and stick up your ass.
He's got 2 trophies. Also, what do you guys buy? There's 2 tangents to this if we are going to really go rabbit holes. So the second was, and again, this is very much, I can get into actually why I'm kind of getting annoyed with Arsenal fans, if you guys want to know that too. But one of them is like one of the big YouTube ones, AFTV. One of their theories, which
horrible,
is the Europa isn't what it used to be because of the new Champions League standards. So they're kind of like shitting on the Europa. How do you react?
I've heard it.
I mean, they'll say that until they win it, right? And then it'll be the best thing ever. So
but I also remember them getting to a final.
Do or don't.
Did you win that? Did you? No, I remember Arsenal getting. Didn't they get to a Europa final?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you win that final?
No. But
they lost.
No, but
because Mkhitaryan wasn't allowed to play. That's why we didn't win.
We would have beat you anyway.
Shut up, Sergey.
We would have beat you anyway.
But hold on. Here's let's get the argument right though, because here's what they claim is if Arsenal had if you guys had the same format that the Champions League currently is in, you would have had to have played half the teams that were in the Champions League. So
Okay.
Yeah,
so
the teams that
Tottenham-
drop down. But
Yeah.
okay, here's my take: is I think that it's so much better for the sport to not have that happen, because you don't because then all of a sudden you get like new winners. You get like people that are in Europa League that have qualified Europa League. And it's like the same group of the pool of talent that all of a sudden is going and playing. In
So how often did someone from like the Champions League that dropped off to Europa won it? I feel like it's
often. Yeah.
Often.
Really?
Yeah.
Very often.
What was it? The
You don't
Spanish
even
team?
know because you're Real Madrid. You never drop down.
Have you been to the
Like
Europa?
when Chelsea won,
What is the Europa League?
when Chelsea won it, they dropped down. When Chelsea won Europa, they dropped down.
Then
But didn't
here's the
the
other argument, though. PSG had such a bad start to Champions League. If it was still the group stages, they wouldn't have gone through. And they still won the Champions League. Does that make them any less of a winner?
Well, they actually changed the Champions League format because the top 4 teams in the standing part, all of them got eliminated. So they want to change it so they get more of like a advantage somehow. I guess the home and away they get the first all throughout the tournament.
But it's a facto.
It's
the one the Europa.
Yeah. It's a legit one. Although we did.
Here's a list. Just start teams that dropped out from the UCL and won the UEL the same season. 99, 2000 Galatasaray, 2001, 2002 Feyenoord, 2008, 2009 Shakhtar Donetsk, 2012, 2013 Chelsea, 2015, 2016 Sevilla, 22, 23 Sevilla. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, not as many as I thought.
Yeah, because and also like when you think about like Sevilla, they dropped down, but they're not a powerhouse. The Turkish teams are not powerhouses that won it. So Chelsea, okay,
Chelsea is the only one you maybe consider a powerhouse of that at the time, 2012, 2013. They were a Champions League team.
To clarify, I should have said this prefaced. I think it's kind of a bullshit argument saying that the Europa League is watered down. I think that's like a bit of a cop out. It's a bit of a AFTV bitch move in my opinion. But
well, they hate Tottenham. I've watched.
Yeah, they're just grasping for straws with that one.
Yeah,
they hate Tottenham. Like all the years Tottenham was coming in top 4, and Arsenal would say the same thing. You didn't win nothing. You didn't win nothing.
Yeah,
Arsenal's come second 3 years in a row, and then Tottenham wins Europa. All of a sudden, it's not worth anything. It's just the moment.
Nate, question for you: If Arteta goes another season trophyless, is it time for him to move on?
For me personally, yes, and I think it's just a yes. I think it has to be. He's gotten 5 years. I was reading recently he has the 4th longest tenure in the Premier League.
3rd now with Frank leaving.
With Frank leaving,
okay, which is crazy. I think. Actually, you know who it was again? Maybe you Vince watch it because of do you guys do that podcast with like Gary Neville and Roy Keane and Ian Wright?
I don't. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I watch a little bit of it, but I watch more the Wrestlers Football with Gary Lineker.
That was good too. Yeah.
Michael Ridge. Yeah.
Did you see the one recently? Thierry Henry was actually on that one though.
Oh yeah.
And he talked about it, and he was sort of like,
"It's a big building."
Yeah, big building. It's a real tall building. He was like,
a real tall building.
He'd kind of been like, he even thought this year was like, if you look at the history of a trajectory, if you even get a lot of backing from a club, if you get 4 years, that's like, you really should get like 3. If you get a 4th, that's amazing. So he's in his 5th. If he doesn't get it in the 5th, like.
His other argument was that if you're competing, you get to finals, and Arsenal's only been in 1.
Yeah, exactly.
In the last, 5 years or something, or 10 years.
To me, this is across all sports and just life in general. If you're going to replace someone, with authority, with power, if you don't have a better idea of who you're bringing in, if you're making the change for the sake of making the change, if you're not improving, I feel like it's kind of pointless. So they need to have a manager that they could get for sure, knowingly, before they kind of make the move. Because as bad as unsuccessful it has been, this is like what since Wenger, like the golden era of Arsenal, like the best run you guys ever had.
Yeah. Well, and if we really want to get in the nuance of it, is like, I think to your point, Tico, like, I think the style of play, the systems he's built has actually been great. I think the trajectory, I think the money, I think the revenue growth, like any way you look at it, I think it's been really solid. No trophies. The thing I looked at, I'll share this with you guys.
That's funny. Tico just said Bayern Munich up 3-0 in the first 20 minutes of that game. They're talking about.
They're going to score.
It's a semi-pro team, huh?
Yeah, they're going to score like 7 million goals in that game.
How many did Harry Kane score?
0.
What the fuck?
Common, Sasha Bowie, and Olise.
So I was looking at this today because I was messing around. This is what you don't see those big clubs ever do, that if they're going to win, like, you don't see Man City doing this. You don't see Chelsea doing this. Like, in 2024, 2025, if this will actually load, which it won't. So this is most spent, and then like the balance. So this is the top 25. Arsenal's nowhere on that list. How do they go 18 months and they're not in the top 25 most spends? Like you just can't do that and win, in my opinion.
And when you look at the teams that are here, it's Roma, Ipswich.
That your teams, yeah.
Yeah, down. But I mean, up here, it's like, I mean,
Even then.
Yeah, and it just.
But also, you look at some of these that are absolute flops, right? So you don't want to just spend money for the sake of it. Like, look at West Ham United on this list and how absolutely atrocious they've been. So there's like finding that balance, and like you look at like Liverpool. You look at Liverpool last year where they spent virtually no money, and that ended up being like the best decision they could have made. So there is an argument to be made that like, oh, if we think we have the right team, the right players, it's just. But I think for Arsenal, it's pretty clear they don't have the right team, the right players, right?
Well, they need a striker.
There's clear
they need
gaps.
a strike for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. And just that goal deficit, that goal drought has been there for a while. Even if they've got like, they're well spread out, they just have nobody doing 20, no 20 plus goal people. It's crazy.
No. Did they have anyone that got 10 goals this season?
No one got 10 goals.
No, I think with injuries, I don't think so.
Havertz was the highest goal scorer with 9.
And he got injured.
When they got Havertz, were you high on that, or were you like, why the hell are we getting him?
Same. I didn't think. I think. I don't know if it's driven by Arteta or someone else. They seem scared of going after like big nines or goal scorers, and he felt like similar of that. Of like, oh, he can potentially be versatile. He can do these
like
different
split
things.
The difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's almost like they're risk averse. So when they sign him and they're going to pull him into this like. What are they even saying?
Hybrid role. He's gonna be like a hybrid like midfield striker role.
Yeah, even
which failed miserably.
Into. Yeah, exactly. And now they're putting Rice into that. And it was also the same time. So it was like, was that there? I didn't see it. I'm happy with him. I think he's overperformed. I love his song. Whenever he scores, I sing it to Keith. The Waka Waka.
No, Waka Waka.
60 million down the drain. Havertz scores again. It's a good one. Yeah. It's a good one.
My theory on Arteta not buying a striker is if he buys a striker and they still fail, then it's proven right that
exactly.
It's almost like
he can't bring them further.
It's almost like he has had this crutch of not having the signings that he wanted for the last like 2 seasons now, and it's like it's time to like put up or shut up from the board. If like give him the piece that he needs. But also then like why did you spend so much money on all these I feel like you guys spent so much money on defenders last few years.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's him coming from like a 6-ish, sort of role, if he's more comfortable in that, but just like even longer, like I mean they had Aubameyang, but like what successful attacking players have they purchased? I know Saka has been great, awesome, but who have they scouted and figured out and brought in that's actually been able to get it across that line? And it's just
like Odegaard maybe, but he came on loan, like
yeah, exactly,
like a big name. Yeah, I was different because that was a very like slow betting.
Yeah, and I used to do the whole like, oh, they're not willing to splash the money, but it's like if you're gonna spend 100 million on deck,
yeah,
okay, you're willing. What's the missing link? Maybe Serge, I don't know. What do you think?
I think Arsenal rebuilds before they fire Arteta. Because I feel like if this year they don't win anything, Saka might go.
You really think Saka's going to go?
Sure. I do.
I think the biggest thing would be the 2 center backs leaving.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying if this year they don't win, they're probably gonna start rebuilding. And I think the culture that Arteta built, I think Arsenal prefers that over the team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just you guys forget where Arteta brought Arsenal from to here.
Sure.
We forget.
Like, we were finishing 8th and we were, all over the place, not 17th. 8th, 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Huh?
Thinking that was
Yeah.
the bottom of the league. We were like, oh my god, this is terrible.
Oh yeah. You didn't win. Okay, yeah.
You're like Europa
Okay.
You didn't win anything.
FA Cup,
That's true.
which is harder to win than Europe.
Is it? It's harder to win than Europa. You are doing so well, Sergey. I was with it all the way until you did that.
The delusion sparks up.
AFTV right here.
Maybe
All right.
maybe not in the old format. In the new format, he's totally right.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, Moneyball, your Moneyball. How long have you guys been doing this? Like,
We're going to
third
our
season.
third season of
No, this is our fourth season.
of the fantasy league or of the
Both.
podcast.
Both.
Fantasy league technically 5. We took a year break.
But we don't remember the first
We don't
one.
count that one.
We do
No.
because I won it. I don't understand
don't
why
count. We don't-
no one
we
wants to
don't.
count the year that I won.
Because we had a bunch of people that didn't want to freaking play. We had Kevin.
People
Was it
checked out after like week 3.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
dominating so badly.
After week 3,
After week 3?
I was so far ahead in that league. It was a joke. You guys
That's
aren't
I don't
this.
remember it. Do you remember that, Chico? I don't remember that.
I was so far ahead in my league that I had to give away Luis Diaz to make it
That's
competitive.
not what happened.
The podcast we've been doing.
This will be our third year.
That's
We're
third year.
Starting going into our third year.
The crazy thing, we've been talking about the podcast maybe like over 10 years
yeah,
or close
10
to 10 years.
Oh man, it started with like 10 of us from our team.
At the time we were talking about it, like podcast wasn't
not a
like
thing.
as oversaturated as it is right now.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, in our soccer team, like a couple of the people, their wives or significant others, they were doing podcasts, so they had the tools, they know how to do it, but we're just lazy. Then out of nowhere, like, he texts me one day, he's like, hey, like, I'm really thinking of setting this up. Would you be down? I was like, if you're doing all the legwork and I just have to talk, like, sure.
Well, yeah. Classic Kiko.
Essentially what this is we putting a group chat on the recording it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your ass, but you guys have a good dynamic. Like, I love that Enzo. I don't know if you guys relate to this and Tico, I don't know. Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up, Tico?
I was born in Armenia, moved here when I was 9.
Okay. So Enzo, you bring the like cultural side of football, which is cool. Like something
Thank you.
I can't even fully relate to. I still am like probably more like basketball in the 90s and early 2000s than I can relate to. So you bring like that piece, which is great. Tico, I love the like stat check. It's like my favorite person in the world of like, hold on. Yeah. And then Keith, you're the like, you're the captain, my captain. You're like the Robin Williams. You're the like stand up on the chair and keep the thing flowing. So it's good. I really vibe with it, guys.
Mr. Aragon
man.
over here.
Hey, I'll take it.
I don't know when you started listening, but like when we started recording this like early on, we would get sidetracked so easily and so
easily.
and it was just essentially sidetracked was just like shitty. That's when like Chelsea was like doing shitty. It was just
Yeah.
Shitty
I
at
love
Chelsea.
that. I love
Keith
that,
does a
though.
good job. Keith does a good job of keeping us on track.
Oh, I try. I feel like this episode actually went off the rails a few times, but what are you gonna do? I think it's just adding a new dynamic to it made it a little.
It was yeah, we got excited.
Yeah.
Well, and to be honest, it was because obviously you can see that. Well, whoever cuts it, I assume it's Sergey, but like you can see a little bit when you guys do cuts, although it's very well done. But I was always curious of like, are you just bullshitting for 3 hours and then you chop it up, or is it like you try and bang it out? And I was like, okay, this is a bit more
Trying
banged
to
out.
bang it out.
Yeah,
in a good
honestly,
way.
At
I
the
think
beginning,
a
it was
lot of the
like close
cuts,
to 2 hours.
a lot of the cuts are pretty easy. I think for Sergey, I don't think there's that much that he's chopping out, right, Sergey?
No,
I'm just cutting dead space. I'm not
Yeah.
even cutting things they say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
cool.
you can tell because
Even though you should be watching our back when we say something stupid or do something stupid.
yeah, Enzo made like a borderline comment the other day, and Sergey decided to cut it into a short. And we're like, Sergey, delete that immediately. And Enzo didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it that way.
Didn't mean it that way, but like the way that Sergey cut that fucking short, it looked like Enzo was being like,
We're
That's
talking
cool.
about the Last of Us, and he's like, bring back Joel, I'm tired of this.
It was too much of a romance. I didn't want to see it no more.
Sergey,
yeah,
I
but the
love
way
that.
yeah,
Sergey has all the power. He can just like
He does, but he does a good job.
he does.
Yeah, he does.
Sergey does a great job. Sergey's the MVP of the whole thing.
He was our number one. He was our first fan.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He's the one who actually created our little chat room, and that's how he did it. He just planted the seed. and then
Well,
he just started
we had
growing.
one without him, and then he created one.
With him in it, and we're like,
And a
okay.
minute giving like his opinion and like stuff we should do differently.
You know that guy that just shows up and just hangs out with the beer in his hand,
And then he's just there.
I'm Kramer, pretty much. I'm Kramer.
What's Joe Rogan's guy who's probably like this multi-millionaire?
Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah, you're the Jamie.
You're the Jamie.
What was I gonna say? But I think Sergey's really lifted the quality of the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
by a lot. I was also putting in too much work before, like because the way I was editing that, we were using this other program and it required so much more work to edit episodes. That podcast or whatever, that sucked.
Fuck up.
Cool. How do you and Keith know each other?
From Brian.
Well, I went to college with a friend of Nate's from growing up. Actually, the first time I met Nate,
cut that.
First time I met Nate, I think it was actually at we went to a U.S. men's national team game, right? We went to South Korea, U.S. versus South Korea. No, they won 2-0.
That's
and it was in Carson, I think, or somewhere.
And I did actually, I didn't play on your league. I don't know if it was the league you guys were in, but I like stood in once or twice.
That was in Orange County though, right? I was driving down to Orange County to play for a team down there for a minute.
Yeah.
So then Nate, then we met again at like another soccer related event. Like we went to like watch a World Cup game together, and then at that game you're like, oh, I'm moving to LA, and I was like, oh shit, and then we just started hanging out.
Yeah. We ended up living like we were like 3 blocks from each other.
Yeah, so we lived really close, and we were into a lot of the same stuff.
Turned into chaos.
I don't know if I want to take a deep dive into why you had to watch a game with him. Were you held hostage?
I was forced.
Like I had to watch a game with
my master demanded that I watch a game with him.
Exactly.
What was
You're gonna watch it. You're gonna enjoy it and become friends.
It was because of that we had a mutual buddy. Because I was like, he was there, and I was like, oh,
is a mutual buddy in the league?
No, Ryan, you got a girlfriend who dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah. That's what Ryan does. Ryan does that.
And then he pops up once they break up. I got it.
Well, but then they didn't break up, and they now have
got married and 2 kids.
Oh, okay. No, he's gone. He's done.
He's gone.
He's cooked.
I wonder if he would play. He'd actually be a fun addition to the league if he wanted to play.
Yeah, and he's a big United fan and he would in a fun way. I think. Yeah, he would sort of.
He's good friends with Ian. So Ian won the league last year, Nate. Ian Hutchinson, who's in the league. You know. So really? Yeah, it'd be kind of funny if Ryan comes in and wins the league again, because then it would be you three who I kind of met at the from the same time, all winning it.
Did
we got the only friend who hasn't won the league, huh?
Yeah.
Did what was I gonna say? I totally blanked. I forgot.
I have won the league. Is he talking about me?
Yes.
I was talking about Ryan. I have won the league. So I'm watching this Bayern Munich game too, so I'm getting distracted.
Wait, I was going to ask, do you guys, and I don't know if I'm stepping on toes. I don't know if they're off-limit questions. Keith said I just can't get you canceled. What is you have 2 leagues. In my head, especially just by listening to your podcast, it feels like your other league is a bit more competitive. True or false?
True, top to bottom, more competitive. There's because then I think in the other league, by the halfway point of the season, there's like 3 or 4 teams that the guys they're realizing they're not winning and they're pretty out of it, right?
Yeah,
got it. It's also being 10 teams. The teams are generally more
numbers?
competitive.
Okay, yeah,
bigger numbers, and also the talent. You don't have to go fishing for backup players or all of that stuff. But as far as activity wise, trades and stuff like that, I feel like the league that you're in was more active this year. In our we call it the main league. There's a guy who just sends out ridiculous trade offers.
Kyle.
He's essentially
I like this guy.
Yeah, he's essentially a volume shooter.
You say that now, man. He's literally waiting for you. He's like clickbait. He's just waiting.
He's waiting for you to accidentally make a mistake. It's the trades are so bad. They're there's no way.
Wait, tell him about the Haaland trade 2 years ago.
That was actually kind of amazing. I feel
it was, but tell him about it.
I don't know his trade. So he essentially he traded his whole team away to get Haaland, essentially.
Okay.
And then just started rebuilding. He just he built his team. Then he had Salah too, right?
Somehow
he had Salah and Haaland on his team. He had no one. He had literally had no one else. They're all waiver play. Literally anyone you could pick up off waivers. Just total. And it was that was his strategy because he thought he was gonna be able to win that way, and it didn't work out.
But he won the year before, didn't
He
he?
won the year before, yeah.
And that's why he did it, because he
Yeah,
was
he
like,
thought-
Because he
mm.
had was that the year Holland went absolutely batshit, or was that
It was, but I don't know if he had him that year.
I had him
No, he
that
had
year.
him. He had him
Yeah.
that year.
I had him the first year.
You didn't
Is
win
it-
though, so
is there again not to try
You
and
didn't win either.
put lighter fluid? Is there always a player? Or is there consistently like a player who's basically like 2 times the value? Yeah, I mean like
No, I mean obviously Holland 2 years ago and then Salah this year were probably like really big ones, but like let's look at I have Fantrax up right now. Like 23, 24,
no, it was
all
closer.
players. It was a lot closer, right?
Yeah, I looked on that.
So the cool thing is you could go back like as many years as it has the stats, as long as the players are still in the league. KDB had years where he was averaging 20 points. In 2019-20, he averaged 20.7 points, 13
Jesus.
goals, 20 assists.
fucking nuts.
20
The
assists.
next year he averaged 20 assists.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's when Man City were just toying with the league.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was-
so I feel like it's this year, like Salah almost broke fantasy this year. Like I can only imagine that he probably broke like the OFPL or like the other types of where like the scoring system's so bad. That's it. That's what kills me about what were you playing, Nate?
FPL or whatever?
FPL or like
Yeah.
like FPL draft too. Like the scoring
that
system
too.
is so bad that like it makes it like not fun to watch because like all you care about is goals and assists, and that's such like not a true test of like a player's like what
I'll
a
say
player's doing.
This is not to throw shade. It's much easier, I found, because
Yeah.
FPL is like there's kind of, if you're saying there's 11 guys, I think you get some subs. So maybe let's say you have I don't know,
It's
30
5 subs.
okay, 5 subs. So you're at 15, 16 guys. I feel like, what do you think? And they're like 10 guys on everybody's team is going to be the same.
Yeah, basically.
Yes,
So
because
when
you
I
get you
did
get
it,
points for minutes too, right? You literally
Yeah,
get participation points.
you get participation
Yeah.
points, but it's that dollar amount that you have to spend. So like
Yeah.
you're looking for that
FPL.
diamond. Yeah, you're looking for that diamond in the rough. But everyone's got Salah, or everyone's got Saliba, or what I mean, they've all got the same players, and there's like 1 or 2 here, and you're just hoping to pick one, and you can't change him like wherever you want. You get like 1 change per week, and you can roll over 1 for 2 weeks, but then after that,
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
that's it.
And the
So-
the captaincy thing is just so important.
Oh
My God, that
crazy.
drives me
And the
crazy
vice
too.
captain, yeah.
Crazy.
Stupid. Let's put up. Okay, I have a question for you guys. So this game is 4-0. This Bayern Munich game. Do you feel like the halftime talk for Auckland? Like I feel like you can't be that mad. You're just
No,
like I would
guys,
hate it
how
if some
cool is
guys like
this?
acting like I would hate if someone was acting pissed. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. We're playing against
They're
Bayern Munich,
gonna have a Foster's at the halftime, and they're fine. That's it.
right?
And they're just gonna do the big edge. This is how we play, mate. That's it. And they're gonna
They're gonna
carry
be
on.
like,
Yeah.
no one scores 5 goals on us in the first half.
No, I think the whole point for them right now is just if they're talented, just show you're talented. Maybe somebody sees you and you go somewhere.
But like I
No one's
don't
taking
even
them.
I don't even think they're not even at that level.
You never know. They might have like one guy that just has talent. Maybe not.
Maybe.
As,
I think you're. I
Just
think
Arsenal are desperate for a striker. They'll look anywhere.
Yeah.
exactly. I think you're right on every team but this New Zealand one.
Yeah.
also-
I think this one is like
One,
that's what essentially this tournament is. Just
Yeah, I
showcasing
agree there.
talent.
I
but
think that's what
it
you're kind of
is-
saying.
But again, in my rabbit hole of like looking at things, another one I went on a big tangent on. Again, I'm blaming you, Keith, actually, because one of the resources you gave me was Font Mob, which is like the
Yeah.
news, the transfer news on that is like such clickbait. But the winner of this gets 125 million.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Plus bonuses.
What?
Isn't that insane?
So think about that. Like this,
Think about that for PSR.
exactly. So
Just alone.
this article I was reading was about Bayern. It was saying that Bayern underperformed on their expected revenue targets across the board, not just in finishing in different levels. They obviously won their league, but they didn't win their German Cup. They didn't get far in the Champions League. So they're like, we need this 100 million. So like Bayern's trying is what this article was claiming.
Yes, 1,000%. And I mean, like, I think any team is going to try when there's that much money in the line. It's about how do you motivate your players, though. You're like,
Yeah.
like they just played a really long season, so like we'll see. And I think like at the end of the day, when they're playing, when they face up against Bayern Munich, it's going to be okay. Let's fucking go. But I think there's some room for some upsets to happen. Like, like them not taking like a Botafogo, like a Brazilian team seriously or something.
Well, and that's
There's room there.
And I was also just trying to like look and see who they're starting. Like, are they actually starting their studs? And it looks like they are.
Yeah,
Bayern are, for
because
sure.
it's 125 million. I would
But they didn't need to start this team against.
no.
This,
But
I mean,
this
they
was-
literally started. This started their best 11.
Yeah, but this is making a statement.
Yeah, which Bayern likes to do. Bayern likes to
They fucking like
they like running up the scores. Bayern is known for running up the score.
Yeah,
Fucking Germans.
hey,
We all know Real
I'm half
Madrid's
German,
winning this,
so.
right?
I know. That's what I said. Hey,
Will
motherfucker.
they try? Will they try? You think?
Yeah, they care.
You think along?
Florentino Perez said they want to start off dominating this tournament like they have the Champions League.
Okay, but I think there's so Bayern has a good shot. I think PSG is going to be hungry to win this too. Like they just were crowned the European champions. I think they obviously want to be crowned world champions too. I think, Madrid has a chance. I think that's kind of those are the big three, right? Who else is really
Atletico?
Atletico? I mean, then I put Atletico in the same as like Chelsea, where it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world, but it's not that likely, right?
This is set up for a PSG Real Madrid final.
That would be interesting.
PSG is the one I'm nervous about of the legs, and like, are they just going to be too tired?
But they're so young, the whole team. So
they're going to go to
They didn't
Miami.
play all season though.
They're going to go hit the clubs. They're going to be like, let's go. Let's
They're
go
young.
South
They're young.
Beach.
I also think Man City is going to be an interesting one because of all the players they got.
Oh, I forgot about Man City. You're
Yeah.
right. They're up there too.
Because I think for us, that's probably the most interesting one to watch, just to see what kind of rotation it is. And it'd also be interesting if
Same as all season.
is Pep going to play the players here that he's not going to play in the Premier League, or he's going to actually like play everyone who's going to carry over to the regular season. So
I'll tell you what, I'll be tuning into this Palmeiras game to watch Estêvão Willian.
Did you hear he's talking
Really?
To
shit?
Chelsea. What did he say? I saw some headline. I didn't read it.
He
What'd
said
say?
he said he has. I'm paraphrasing, but he has every. He expects to be starting every game for Chelsea or something like that. He doesn't expect to be in a rotation, and the players will see why during the game.
I'm drafting him.
I like that. I like that confidence.
How old
You're
is he?
drafting him?
I'm 100% drafting him.
Not if I draft him first.
You don't know what I'm taking him. Are you going to
You
take
don't
him in
know
the
what I'm
third round?
Are you going to take him in the third round?
Don't worry about it. It's going to be the Oscar Bob with 2 Bs of this year.
Oh my god.
Don't put that on him. Oscar Bob got injured in the second game of the season.
No, I'm talking about in the place that I drafted in.
Okay, well, I can look where you drafted Oscar Bob, then adjust and just draft before you drafted him.
I think I drafted Oscar Bob.
In our league.
Yeah.
Let's see where Tico did. Yeah, round 9. Yeah, sure.
No, I'm gonna draft him way before that. You know,
do you guys
You're
ever?
not gonna psych me out of like my game
Let me
plan.
tell you right now.
If anyone's
going
going to do it, Tigo's going to psych you out, bro. He always makes you overthink it. Because you already overthink it.
You're trying to scare a guy that drafted in Kunku third round.
Yep, that's true.
He'll just go third
Well,
round.
thank you, Sergey. You're right.
Oof.
but he's a
Goal
Brazilian.
5. Goal 5.
I will be rooting for him a lot, so he makes a Brazil, because all the wingers we have are on the left side. We need someone on the right side, so I need him to be on my team, teach him the ways. So I don't know, round 4.5, 5.
Do you guys ever, or how do I even ask this question? Do you guys ever think about, or have you ever seen somebody like stack a team with like one team's player?
Kyle.
I think actually,
Yes.
Kyle.
The Man United guys in our league, Kyle.
So
He did it. Remember the year that United got second with when Rashford went off? That's the year he won the league.
he had all their defenders. He had the goalkeeper, so it was getting all the clean sheet points, and like essentially, if United had a good game,
He'd won.
he was winning.
He was winning.
wow. And
Yeah.
since they finished second, he just crushed it.
Yeah. I think also because I think the expectations weren't the highest,
Mhm.
right?
Didn't he also have Bruno Fernandes that year?
He had
Yeah.
Bruno.
Who's a stud in fantasy?
Yeah.
We had somebody, actually, now that I think about it, somebody tried to do it sort of with Arsenal in our league, and it didn't go very well for them.
Was it?
Was it Patch?
It
or
had to be
was
Patch.
Patch, yeah.
Probably.
No, it did not go well.
No, no.
And he didn't.
He had
and he didn't-
Havertz, Martinelli, Trossard. Yeah.
Timber, no.
He also drafted Julian Alvarez. And that was just a fail.
So that hurt.
Yeah, we've had that a couple of times. Harry Kane getting drafted the second round.
I know
Remember
that's honestly that's the biggest killer in this whole setup is that like you drafting a guy early and him leaving. That's kind of what I was getting at the Luis Diaz thing now. Like I don't think I touched Luis Diaz until there's some clarity
Scary,
there for that reason.
There
Could you
was
imagine like
there was in again one of these like weird chat room things through those whatever boys. I forget what it's called.
Banter.
Banter
Banter
boys. Thank
boys.
you. One person was saying they do a draft after the first week, or after the transfer window.
the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like I love having 38 games. I want all 38 games.
Because you lose like a month, right? It's September, or no? You lose 2 games.
It's like
You lose like 2 games.
Yeah.
Well, but it is a crazy dynamic.
I think there's just this X
Mm-hmm.
factor. There's this crazy part of doing a draft if you don't know a guy's going to even be in the league, which is
and then
insane.
trying to pick up those traded players like within 2 weeks. It's added fun.
Yeah, it adds a little chaos early.
That's true. I also totally. Oh, go.
No, go ahead. Mine is something.
I was just gonna say it was another thing I thought about is like I thought I was ready for our draft and I totally fell apart. And within like 5 minutes, somebody was also like, we have way too much time, where I was like, this is way too short. I was like, I wanted 10 minutes to pick. I wanted to like go into my spreadsheets. Someone's like, this is going too slow. Move faster. I'm like, oh my God.
That probably was me.
Funny. You should, Nate. I think we'll probably do we'll set up a few mock drafts this year if you want to join us.
That'd be sick. I drafted two goalies, in case you guys are wondering.
Yeah.
Like
my God, at least
I was looking at that.
Good job.
Oh, no,
Good
Ederson.
job.
It was really bad. And to be honest, I basically auto drafted Luis Diaz, and that worked out well for me. But that was
work out. But that's the exact same thing happened to Tico in our other league. He drafted Salah in the first round, he drafted Luis Diaz in the second. He's like, what have I done? I can't believe I drafted 2 Liverpool players. And then of course there's like jokes on us. Luis Diaz just scored a banger, by the way, against Auckland City.
Damn. And Tico doesn't do mock drafts, by the way.
So, Nate, I don't do mock drafts. Like in any, I play old fantasy. Never done a mock draft. Like I don't do those. And we had a ranking that we created. I had Mo Salah ranked 11th.
No
But
way.
you still picked
Wait,
him
still
for
picked
it.
him
Yes,
for-
What
Fourth.
pick were you?
It was 4th
Where
pick.
did you head at that point? You were like, I don't want.
It was between Watkins, Palmer, and Salah. So
I
picked up Salah.
I was very high on Foden coming into the year. Mo Salah, there was also rumors of him
that was also the thing. Remember the rumors of him going to
and also there was the whole like he's getting older, new manager, all of that stuff. Like a lot of changes were happening. So I was like, and again, I was very high on Foden. But as we got closer to the draft, I was like, what are you doing? Like this guy's been super consistent. Like you're gonna take fucking Ollie Watkins?
Fuck you.
That's what Enzo
He had
did.
he still had a good season.
Nate, so in our other league, the draft went Saka, Holland, Bruno Fernandes, and then Tico in 4 with Salah, and then Enzo in 5 with Watkins, and then they literally handed me Palmer at 6. I was in heaven.
How did that happen? It was the thought that Palmer just overperformed in his first season.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of conversation about the penalties, and that was a big thing. And there's clearly people who just weren't watching him and realized how amazing he was.
Oh.
You know?
It was literally because of penalties. It was literally because of the penalties.
Also, Enzo's not good at drafting.
Whoa!
Even
I've had more podiums than you, mate. You've had one winning season, and all of a sudden you're like God's gift to fantasy. I don't fucking think so.
You know who you sound like? You know who you sound like? You sound like an Arsenal fan. Oh, we finished top 4. We finished top 4. Good for you. You finished top 4.
Double stab.
Yeah, there you go. And there's another thing in our other league where we got a couple people that do something called splat picks. So that sometimes fucking hurts the draft.
Well, they just pick someone knowing that someone else. They just know the person ahead of them wants that guy.
Let's say like if Enzo's drafting next, there's like Bruno Fernandes or like a Tottenham player. He'll take the Tottenham player that's lesser just to spite Enzo.
Like me taking. I took Leon Bailey in the 4th round to spite Enzo.
Yeah, and it didn't work out for you.
And it backfired dramatically.
Well, wasn't your name even like Leon Bailey affiliated?
Bailey made it. Bailey made a scratch.
Bailey's and Cream or something, right?
So Enzo went on like a 13-game winning streak.
That also did happen this year. Enzo,
and he finished 6th.
Yeah, fucking crashed and burned because of Young.
You can't blame it all on Ashley
Dude,
Young
he
on
was
Everton. That's not the
killing
reason
it
why
for
you
me.
lost
Dude, he
your
was scoring
league.
16 plus points a game.
During the winning streak, he was averaging like maybe 80 points.
That
He was
also
barely
record.
squeaking by
84
people.
points. Hey, I can only beat what's in front of me. I'm sorry, it's better managerial style. I play tight
Your
Italian.
penis.
Score enough.
Ugh. Is there like going into next year? If you all had the number one pick, who would you take?
Saka.
Well, I already have my rankings, so if you
Yeah,
want to
actually, wait.
take a
Number
look.
one came up on your wheel, no, or number two?
Yeah, I
Number
think
two
Saka. I think Saka is pretty consensus. I think Salah. I think you can make an argument for Salah being
Well, it's because of the AFCON.
3 AFCON, but I think the more I think about it, the more I think Cole Palmer could go.
Yeah,
too.
because that's not no Chelsea bias.
I don't know.
Could-
I'm just thinking
Could
about it.
go number two, or could also go number one.
No, I think you have to go Saka number 1. There's no way. But I think like Bruno Fernandes is so dependable.
Yeah.
Like it's so, and then I think Holland's tricky. Isak 5'4", 5'6".
Isak's got to be in there. He's had such a good
Yeah,
season.
it's top 6. I think where it gets really tricky is 7-8 with Cunha and Buemo, because we looked at those XG numbers, going to potentially new teams. It just feels like there's a lot of uncertainty there for me to like feel really good about
If
this.
Buemo goes to Tottenham, he drops out of the first round.
You guys
Really?
talk about like Mo Salah is the reason I won the championship, which
God.
obviously played a
Yeah.
factor. But I think the biggest contributor to the championship was Cunha.
That
Can
was
you
huge.
pull up
You're probably right.
Can you pull up your team? I've never seen that team actually. Your winning team.
You got it.
My
You
team
got it.
or
yeah.
Yeah, your
Just
team.
pull up the draft board.
Tico.
Pull up the draft board. Pull up the draft
all
board.
right. Let me.
In 6-0. Bloody
Do you
hell.
want me to do it?
No, I have it. It's
I mean,
fine.
Keith. Wait, if you look at Keith's in our league, once he made that atrocious trade with Slim 420, your team was so good. If you would have not done a
What
thing,
trade was that again?
I
You-
know.
Joe
I
Felix.
don't want to talk about it.
No,
Joao Felix.
what was it? Was
for
that
Martin
the trade? I remember that trade. Fucking
Yeah, Martin Odegaard for Joao Felix and some Japanese scrub.
Endo.
Kamada.
Oh, Kamada,
Kamada.
Kamada.
So,
Even
so
more
it
scrum.
was actually kind of funny because Sergey went first, Saka, and then 4, 5, 6. It's me, Enzo, and Keith. So
Yeah.
kind of.
That was
So
really
wait,
funny.
sorry, and Saka.
So this is me.
I had
down the
another
middle right
good
here.
name in this league. Obi-Wan Iwobo.
Quanch's Tikoff. And then yeah.
Obi-Wan Iwobo. You can say it. It's a good name.
It's a good one.
It's not.
Yeah, so my 3-4 was pretty rough.
Wow.
He picked Nkuku in the third round.
Dude,
Because from preseason, he looked great. That was a mistake.
my fourth pick.
Even
Hindsight, I mean, there's a lot of players in hindsight where you just go, oof. That's every
Yeah.
year. Like every year we do the same amount of research as we're going to do this year. And every year there's like a lot of them where like it's really hard to justify it.
A JWP in the fourth round, you motherfucker.
He was a top 20 pick.
I know.
He was a top 20 player the year
You
prior.
Fuck me.
So, and then I also picked up Morgan Rogers from the waivers, which was pretty huge.
yeah, that's the part that just seems so wild and crazy from this side is just like thinking of that. I don't even know, top 25, top 50, how many guys are like not even on this or how much that
Yeah.
shifts. And is it like, is
Fully.
that consistent every year or is it like,
Pretty consistent. There's a lot of that's like the draft is important, but I think there's so much of this. What I like about it is so much of this won in waivers and transfers and all that stuff. You know?
So on my team, everyone from 9th round and below, no one was on my team towards the end. Literally, like even way before that. And then Sherry got injured, Tarkovsky got injured, so they were no longer on there. Pope, I dropped him because he was hurt. Literally, the only ones that Madison I had to drop because he got hurt. Diaz, I traded away.
I think what this thing is though is that even in all that what we're talking about, there is when you look at like the latter round picks like 10 on, there are some like every team there's a few gems. Like, you know, like I got Savio in the 12th. Like I'm looking at like Yukuba Minta for Thomas's team. Like there's guys that like did really well later.
Iwobi in the 9th.
And then yeah, that's what I mean. So it's not like even in like the carnage that is the draft, there's still like some gems that you can pick
and
up.
then to kind of go back to when you were asking if it was competitive or not, when you look at the standings,
Fuck you.
It's what is it separating us? 2 games. That's how it pretty much
And
ended.
then third and fourth.
And then
Yeah.
And if you look,
But
third and
look at
fourth.
like I went on a 3-game losing streak. And so like that sucked.
This is Sergey. So Sergey overtook, and I also went on a 2-game losing streak to finish it. So Keith,
But then you look at like the special.
But look at how many total points. Look at the total points too.
Yeah, the
I had
special one.
five.
dang.
I had 400
You
more
see the
total
special
points
one? He was dead last halfway through the season. And he-
Wow.
until I traded
He-
him in Buemo.
yeah. And
Did he have Bruno?
No, I traded him in Buemo like a fool.
and this over here, this right here, the sad person that couldn't even score 3,900 points is Enzo.
3899, you prick.
Yeah, could have
You
scored.
should have said 4,000. That would have made it more. Yes, you're an idiot.
3,900. The only 2 people scored 4,000.
Okay. I was right there behind you.
God, you guys get so many more points with 10 men, huh? That's so cool.
yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, like 129. Again, this is a guy that has
All the Man
a
United
bunch
players.
of Man United players. Yeah,
Jesus.
like
Yeah, there are a couple of these teams where, again, I wish I'd had
71.
more time under, like, more fantasy time. But Keith, you've talked about these in the last couple of pods. But part of me is like, I think it'd be fun to make a bet on United, Tottenham. Who else? There was one other one. Maybe if Crystal Palace doesn't lose people and keeps up that momentum, like just go get as many of them as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Thinking
like
that the value is like
Mhm.
maybe perceived as lower.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. There's something
Boomer
there for
bust.
sure. I think I'm kind of feeling that way about Tottenham, but I also feel like that's not. I think that's like kind of the like hipster thing. Like I feel like I'm not going to be the only one that does that. With
Got
Tottenham
it.
players. But
Yeah.
I agree.
But even like
Alright, boys.
United, at least United's like attackers. I mean, their defense is going to be terrible, but if you could go get is it possible to get Fernandez and Cunha? Will that happen? Will that
No,
line
no.
up for
Without a
whoever
trade.
has the top 3?
Has to be a
No.
trade.
Definitely not.
So you think for
Is
sure
Cunha
Cunha goes
go-
in the first 2 rounds? For sure.
First round,
round.
I think, at this
Mhm.
rate. Unless something dramatic happens, I think he goes like later first round, like end of the first. And Bruno always goes beginning of the first. So
But even if
I think that's a good thing though. What Nate just said. Sorry,
You think
Nate.
it's in what way?
Like a
go.
get like a good combo for your first 2 picks
like
on a team.
stacks, right? Like
It's like when I had
Yeah.
Son
Yeah.
Kane.
Like Palmer or
exactly.
no, they don't have a second good one, but
they don't have a second good player, you're right?
Delap, man.
Uh,
Palmer and Delap, that could work.
But I mean, if you just with United and how bad they are, but it's like, let's say they get Mbeumo, Cunha, Fernandez, and Ahmad.
It might be
are
possible.
all 4 of those guys going in the first 2 rounds?
It might be possible to get like.
yeah, that's what I've been talking about. I feel like that's crazy to me
But-
though. I don't feel good about that. Feels
It does
gross.
feel gross, but that those last 3, Diallo, Cunha, and Brembo, if they went to Man United, it is possible to get a double whammy if you had a late first round pick.
Yeah, you get one of them, 2 of them. Yeah.
What's a double whammy?
Double whammy. You ever watch Anchorman? Whammy.
All right, guys, I gotta go.
All right.
This has been really fun. Sergey, good luck cutting this up. It's
2 hours
it's
long.
long.
Hey, Nate, nice meeting you, mate.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me, y'all.
Really nice. This is fun.
It was a
Such a
pleasure.
pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, we'll have to
Speak
have you
soon.
back on again. At
the
some
real
point.
champion.
Maybe we'll do a mid-season
I'm just
recap
gonna.
or
You can
something.
keep me off the
Check in.
screen, and I'll eat popcorn and cheer you on. Like, yay, go guys!
All right,
All
later,
right,
guys.
peace
Hey,
out.
leave your window open for a little bit after, so it can like download or whatever.
Okay.
Just
so
once
don't
I
hang
close
up.
it. Yeah,
it'll
essentially, I'm gonna end it, and
It'll
then
just
you'll
say
see-
100%
okay.
loaded after you're done.
Okay.
All right, later, guys.
Peace.
Okay, bye.
Bye.